Hi, I'm here with Ajaz Akhtar. Many of you will know him around the country. In fact, he is almost certainly more famous than I am on my own show. Ajaz, how you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you? You okay?
Great to have you with us. So let's. I'll take a deep breath and try and run through some of your accolades through your cricketing career. 30 years for Peterborough Town, and of course, an absolute wizard with the ball, and someone tormented me while I was trying to learn how to play Premier League cricket. So thank you for that, Ajaz. Proud in Yorkshire leagues, in Durham leagues, in Norfolk. Was a Cambridgeshire player for 22 years. You are their all-time leading wicket taker with over 500 and was it 46 wickets?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, 46. Yeah.
Of course, an England amateur in your own right in the early days, and now an England over 50s player, an MCC player, and tourer. I mean, the list goes on, Ajaz. I could go on, but I think it's suffice to say your credibility is there as someone that has played and achieved a huge amount in cricket. So before we delve into today around your time with Cambridgeshire, just a little bit about growing up in cricket for you, Ajaz.
Yeah, I guess cricket was in my blood initially. I'm a Pakistani lad, and every Pakistani lad's got a bit of cricket in them. I came over to this country when I was very young. I was 3 or 4 years old. And, I played cricket at my junior school. I remember whacking a ball into the swimming pool and everybody was talking about it, behind squares, you can imagine. Sweet. And yeah, then it was just into my blood, really. Not really into my family, but I went to a sort of a cricket playing school at Deacon's in Peterborough. We played some good public school fixtures. We went to Oakham and Spalding and places like this. And then I just went from there. I played for Old Deaconians Cricket Club, which was an old boys Deacons school club, and a really great bunch of lads. I still know friends with many of them. Gave me a proper sound footing into cricket. And from there, Alan Swan, who was an Old Deaconian himself, sort of pestered me to come and play for Peterborough Town in 1986 as a sixth former, and yeah, that's where my journey began with senior cricket, I guess.
That's it. The rest is history. And there's many of us that have been out today, Jazz.
I guess I spent the first 2 seasons, strangely enough, which a lot of youngsters don't do these days. But I effectively spent the first 2 seasons at Peterborough watching. I hardly bowled, believe it or not, because we had some wonderful bowlers in Gary Rice and Neil Taylor. But I learned a lot about that. It wasn't just about bowling and batting. It was about seeing what other people did and learning from them and the commitment they played in. I think sometimes youngsters this day and age, they lack that patience to watch and learn and sort of listen and get developed. They want instant success, and if they don't get it at one club, they'll try it at another club, and they try. I spent 2 years, just sort of carrying the bags really, and it held me to good stead, I think, in the future.
Yeah, and that's very interesting, because actually you're the second person to say that a lot of learning or developing in cricket is actually sometimes being able to just watch the players operate.
Yeah, absolutely. I learned a lot of, like I said, in my early days. And then when I went to play for Cambridgeshire and we had pros like John Lever and Stuart Turner, it wasn't necessarily that they were teaching me to do this or do that. But what really I learned from them was their commitment to the game, and their determination and their competitiveness. It was all those kind of elements that you can't teach, coaches can't teach kids, but you can watch these old gnarly pros sort of battling away and not giving an inch. And actually that, when I look at my career, that's what it became. I was a very similar bowler, similar cricketer to those kind of guys, hopefully a bit nicer than they were, but probably what most people say, but those people who know me would know that I'm a bit nicer than what they were. And you learn a lot, certainly. That's where I learned my cricket, not so much about bowl this and get this. It was the mental side and the attitude and the aptitude you need to be successful from those characters. Yeah.
No, brilliant, and that's very, very valuable advice. I wish I'd known that before I faced you, that you were a nice guy, and then I probably wouldn't have felt so worried,
Well, it was strange, because obviously, when I was a young kid, I was very competitive, and I wasn't probably overliked in the league. I was a competitive bowler. I'd bowl 24, 25 overs. I was always at you. I'm shouting every time I hit the legs and this kind of stuff. And I think people got the impression of me that, oh, God, what a nasty so-and-so. It was only that when I played in representative league teams and played with the likes of these guys, and then played minor counties, and they got to know me off the pitch, and they realised I wasn't such a bad chap, and sort of the mystique went, and I think they sort of we became good friends with a lot of them. But what you see often at 22 yards in a competitive situation is not necessarily what a character is, and I think, you know, in the old days, I probably wasn't overliked in the league, I would have thought.
certainly very, very memorable. So, I mean, on to today then, really. Cambridgeshire, I mean, wow, 22 years, top wicket taker, 4,000 runs, I think you mentioned to me earlier as well, if my memory serves me correct, so not too shabby. When was your debut? What was that like for you?
Yeah, my debut was 1990. It should have been the year before, but I got my date of my place where I got wrong, where I was born wrong. I thought I was born in High Wycombe, and I was actually born in Bowlpore. And I only realised when I looked at the passport, so I wasn't eligible. But the following year, I qualified, and I made my debut in 1990 against Staffordshire. And my first spell, I got given the ball by Nigel Gadsby, my captain, and my first spell was 39 overs. 11 o'clock till about 5 o'clock. and that was the start of my Cambridgeshire career. I took 4 for 53 off 39 overs. That was my first spell. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I had a wonderful time playing 22 years for a wonderful county. I had made many friends. We weren't the most successful, but we were a good side. You know, we won a couple of one-day competitions. And I had a wonderful time on and off the pitch, you know, and I made many friends. Got to know many people from different backgrounds, introduced my background to a whole lot of people that had never seen Asian Muslim kids. And it was a wonderful. I played against some tremendous players. You know, in the old days when we used to play first-class counties against Malcolm Marshall and Curtly Ambrose and all these characters. And I had 146 games, I think, 60-odd one-day games, and I thoroughly enjoyed every single minute of it. I can't say anything else apart from that, really.
Brilliant. That's amazing. And I mean, so just surely from all those games, I mean, some of the highlights for you, some of those experiences. I mean, you mentioned Malcolm Marshall and Curtly Ambrose, and actually the first-class games are back. So National County will play a first-class county, so they have come back. I mean, what were some of the highlights for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of those games were fantastic. Obviously, when we played, there were competitive games. You know, there were the preliminary rounders of the NatWest and the C&G. And they were wonderful games. And I got a couple of the gold awards. I got gold award against Kent in 91 when I took 4 for 23 off 12 overs. And then I got a gold award against Somerset in 2005 when I scored 78, I think. And just played some wonderful, legendary cricketers, you know, like... coming in, Malcolm Marshall, Curtly Ambrose, Robin Smith, all these characters, and great days, wonderful days, big crowds, often all your family, all your friends, all your club guys coming down. And I thought it was a real shame when that went out of minor counties cricket, you know, because in a way you played your minor county season to try and get into the top 5, so you could get a fixture with one of the first. That was the objective. If you won, great, but if not, and then you'd wait for the draw to come out in the winter. You know, who are we getting? Oh, it's Yorkshire, it's this and that. And it was just the focus piece of minor counties cricket. And it was a real shame when they took that away. I know they brought it back in some kind of format, but I really think there should be a competitive element, like the FA Cup is, where minor counties get a crack at the first-class boys. And there's not many upsets, but quite a few go on to get first-class careers. Paul Taylor for Staffordshire did really well against Northampton, got credit. There's millions that go on to do it. And they really should think about bringing that back in some format. Away from those games, obviously the 2 finals at Lord's, you know, wonderful days. Both wonderful games. The first one in 95, we chased 220. And myself and Dominic Ralphs put on 32 in 18 balls at the end to win the game. And we sort of had a wonderful day. Brilliant. And then in 2005, I was captain. And we chased 275 and won in the second last over. So 2 great games, 2 great victories. Second one as captain to lift a trophy at Lord's was a wonderful, wonderful highlight of my career. And very long nights. You know, Yeah, I can't remember much about them, but there's no Muslim viewers watching.
No, fantastic. Well, look, I mean, that's for me, that really does say it all. You know, you spoke about your minor counties experience or national counties experience with a complete smile on your face, Ajaz, and by the sounds of it, that is exactly what it was.
And it wasn't just those highlights which I've mentioned, you know, it was all those 3-day games, all those 2-day games in the early days, the trips away, you know, the camaraderie, all the kind of things we play cricket for, you know, to spend time. And of course, in minor counties, it's multiplied because you spend even more time with everybody. You know, 3 days, as you've played for Bedfordshire, you might be up in Newcastle for a couple of nights, you might then drive across to Lake District. It's like a little holiday, mini break holidays. And yeah, the cricket is serious, and of course you got to be there on time and whatever. But it's not professional, you know. We all took time off work and whatever, and it was all those experiences. Well, I was very lucky. I played for Cambridgeshire really because I really got made to feel welcome by Nigel Gadsby, who never met an Asian guy, you know, before. He was a farmer from the hills, and he pestered me for. And this is what I was talking about, learning about people and their cultures. And Nigel was a posh farmer, and he'd never met an Asian guy. I was the first Asian guy he ever met, believe it or not. And he spent the next 22 years pestering me about this and my culture and my arranged marriage and wasn't Ramadan a West Indian bowler and all these kind of questions I used to. And, you know, considering he was, you know, he made me so welcome, and considering he didn't know anything about Muslims, and by the end of our 22 years, he actually named his gun dog Jazz. So can you believe, like, this is what cricket can do? so you know, just meeting characters like him and so many others was just a wonderful experience. And rightly so, I'm talking about it with so much of a smile and, you know, enthusiasm about it because I thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it.
Lovely. That's lovely. So, I mean, Ajaz, just looking to the future, I mean, you know, obviously you see now a lot of young guys coming through, even at Peterborough, your home club and stuff, going in and playing the national counties comps. I mean, what do you see as the future of national counties cricket?
I don't know. You know, when I stopped playing in 2011 for Cambridgeshire, which is over a decade ago, I sensed that it was going to go through a few trials and tribulations. Funding was always an issue. The formats were always an issue. Availability became a big issue for minor counties. You know, Bedfordshire, Cambridgeshire suffered as much as anybody, and the sort of general pride and the what I talk about as minor counties. The club cricketers weren't feeling that towards minor counties, and I think that was, you know, not helped by not having those first class games, not having you know, as many games, not, you know, all kinds of things, the underage, the ages. So I thought it might go through a few trials and tribulations, and it has really. You know, it's still going through a few trials and tribulations. It's always changing its format. Now we're playing 2020. We're doing this and doing that. But it's still going, and that's the important thing. It mustn't die away, minor counties cricket. You can call it MCA or whatever. I call it minor counties cricket. But it's a very important link between the professional game and the amateur game. And rightly so, it's much younger now. Rightly so, it's 3 days, it's 20 over cricket, and it's 1 day. Rightly so, that's changed. So all of these kind of changes are for the good. The standard, I'm not so sure. You know, it feels like an under 21 games when I go and watch it sometimes. When I know I sound like a no good, but when I first played, there was the serious club cricketers were playing. The ages were higher. You had professionals coming into minor counties who had played, you know, 10 years for Essex, 20 years for Essex. So the standard was pretty tough on. I can see the games now, and rightly so. I'm not criticising it. It's youngsters. It's sort of second team professionals in charge. You know, it's that kind of level. It's not the same level as where it was, but if it means a lot more youngsters are playing, then that's fair enough. You know, I haven't got an issue with that, because the whole idea should be to try and get those youngsters through to cricket. And it was a bit, when I first started, it was a great standard, but the age was 29, 30. You know, it was top amateur club cricket, but not many of them lads are going to go on to play. Now the average age is probably 21, 22, nowhere near the standard, but a few more may go on to play first class cricket, and I guess that's the objective.
Yeah, no, I like that, and I think that's well put. I think, Ajaz, to be honest, I think there is a massive difference between a young elite player who's raw and a refined, seasoned league player, really, who starts to really work out their game and also work out how to get young people out normally, or score runs against them.
I just think, like I said, if they could get that fixture against one of those first-class counties as a competitive fixture, I think that could still do wonders for minor counties or NCA cricket, because it'll give it real focus. I remember getting Michael Vaughan out in one of those games when he'd just been made England captain, and the world's press was there. And of course, I wasn't a potential first-class cricketer, but I had Sky Sports ringing me in the morning, and I had somebody else ringing me in the afternoon. There was all kinds of people, and just the exposure it can give to some of the amateur cricketers was wonderful. Now, imagine if that had been a youngster, 18, 19-year-old, and his opportunity to sort of be in the limelight and sort of then progress his career. So I think they should really try and get that if they can, but it's not an easy task, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, before we finish our segments today, and again, I suppose in my own interest as well as for our viewers, it would be remiss of me not to ask you at least, what if you had to give one piece of advice to a young cricketer? I mean, what would that be, Ajaz?
I'd say be patient. I'd say listen. Watch and listen. I'd say don't get overhead about technical things. Don't net too much. Don't all this kind of stuff. Learn, listen, watch, be patient.
Thank you. No, I like that, Ajaz. Right. So as our viewers will know, a couple of quick fire questions for you. I had to start calling them the not so quick fire questions because everyone kept giving about 5 answers a go.
Okay.
But we'll give it a go. Right then, for you, Ajaz, here we go. Favourite ground?
Favourite ground? Oh, I would say Findon, but I've not had much success there. Lords was wonderful. Fenners is a lovely ground. So many I've played on all over the country. Panama, I played at Panama. That was a wonderful ground. But, I got very, not nervous, but adrenaline filled when I played at Lords. Always wanted to play at Lords. We got to the Lords final in 95. I couldn't sleep the night before. Went to the ground at 5 o'clock in the morning, and me and the groundsman were there. And, that's always some special memories. So I know a lot of people will say Lords, but it was a special ground for me.
Lovely. Your favourite current player?
Favourite current player? Oh, wow. Some of the feats that Ben Stokes has done in the last couple of years, that wonderful innings against Australia, the World Cup, which I was there at the World Cup final. It was Botham-esque, Imran Khan-esque, some of those great all-rounders of the 70s and 80s. So I think when he's on the cricket pitch, he always, as both of them used to, the bars get emptied and people used to watch the cricket. And we've been at Lords where nobody watches the cricket. And when Stokes are there, they tend to go and watch the cricket. So I think cricketers like that, who can take people away from the bars and make them watch the cricket, I think.
Brilliant. Your favourite umpire?
My favourite umpire? I'm not sure I'm their favourite bowler, but there's some good umpires in the Northants League. I remember the days when there were not neutral umpires in the Northants League, and that they were interesting days. But there's some good umpires in the Northants League. Certainly improved. Martin Dobbs always gives me 1 or 2. It's basically any umpire that gives me wickets. But I do particularly, in the past, I've liked umpiring Keith Coburn. The manager at Cambridgeshire. He's a wonderful umpire. Calls it as it is. Will tell you if it's a ridiculous appeal. Will give you out if it's out. And and he's a character. I think umpires, they're always characters. So I always like the banter, the drink with them afterwards, and all that kind of stuff. And they're an important part of the game. I know I've abused, or I haven't abused, but I've given a lot of them a hard time over the years. I apologise. Okay, all those umpires were watching.
Yeah, I've got what no one else could get. I've got the apology.
Yeah, okay.
You're I'll have to do both for you, being an all-rounder. We'll have to consider you an all-rounder now with 78 and the Lord's final. So your highest score and then your best figures.
Yeah, my highest score was 126 when I played up north for Gateshead Fell, and I was only a young kid there, and I whacked up a massive 100 there, and it was a real big crowd watching, and I was only 19 or 20. That was a good day. And I've had 4 ninefers, believe it or not. 4 ninefers, 9 against Bedford, 9 against Wellingborough, 9 playing for Ketton, and 9 when I played for but I think my best figures were 9 for 21 against Wellingborough, and I think we lost. I think we lost that day, but some, I don't know how many wickets I've got in terms of overall, but 4 9-fers. There you go, never a 10.
We'll take that. No one said they've got 4 9-fers yet, so we'll take that. Just
I did. Well, in 2001 when I took the 100 wickets in the league, I did take 17 against Bedford in the 2 matches. So I took a 9 and an 8. So
they were pleased when you stopped.
I think they put sort of border patrol for me to enter Bedford for a few after that season.
The best place you've ever been for cricket?
Best place I've ever been. Some of the MCC tours take you to wonderful places, and I've been on 2. One was to Panama, and to sort of, I remember we used to have to cross the Panama Canal to go and play at the ground, and I always remember that. And the other was the West Coast of America. So my first tour was a week in Hollywood, a week in San Francisco, and then a week in Miami. So that was a pretty. And I never forget playing at Hollywood Cricket Club with sort of the sign in the background. So, yeah, some wonderful places, as you know, when you go on MCC tours. I was very lucky. I went on 2 wonderful tours, one to Panama and Suriname and the West Coast of America. So happy to retire on those, I think.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I need to hold out for the West Coast of America, I think.
It's a special trip, mate, especially that bus journey along the sort of the West Coast of America, and it's a wonderful trip. And America's all crazy as well. And when they realise, these posh-looking lads in their egg and bacon, it's a good look to have in a bar, mate, I can assure you.
Okay, so we normally finish.
You've seen the film Love Actually, haven't you? And
So we always finish some of our, national county stories and specials with the same question, Ajaz, which is what is the most important aspect or value of cricket to you?
Like I said, cricket has been so good to me, really. It's, my best friends are from cricket. A lot of my work related with cricket. I got a lot of my jobs because of cricket. I've had wonderful time on the pitch, off the pitch, some wonderful memories, still lifelong friends. And I think I played rugby and football and other sports as well, but I think cricket more than anything, you really do make some lifelong friends because of the amount of time you spend with people. In football, you turn up, you play at 1 o'clock, you kick the ball around, you're home by 5. In cricket, as we know, you can be with somebody from Saturday morning, and when we used to play minor counties game, come back Wednesday morning. So you really do get to know people really well. You make some wonderful friends. And I think that's kind of the everlasting thing I've learned from cricket. And also for me, and I would say this to all, young Asian boys, it's a wonderful introduction into British society. You meet people from all kinds of backgrounds, takes you out your comfort zone, learn about different cultures. They learn about you. It breaks so many barriers, and all of this kind of stuff. I think cricket is just does all these things without even knowing it, really. And I thoroughly always encourage young Asian boys to get involved with cricket because if it's as half as good to me as it can be for them, if it's as good to them as it has been for me, then they'll come out of it very, very popular. Notice I didn't say anything about bowling or batting or this and this kind of stuff. I don't think many people do. When they finish their careers, it's about all the other things it brings, not necessarily how many games you won or how many trophies you won or how many wickets you take or whatever. It's those kind of things that the value of any cricket and any really good team sport can give you.
Hey, Jazz, it's been fantastic having you on. I really can't thank you enough. And,
my pleasure, mate.
Really, I look forward to catching up with you soon, really, in person.
Yeah, I'd like that. I don't get to enough cricket now because of the new business that I've taken over. I've hardly been down to Peterborough at all. But when this business settles down a little bit, I'll certainly try and get to a few more minor county games, certainly go and watch a bit more club cricket, and hopefully see a lot of old friends, including yourself, boy.
Brilliant. Thanks, Ajaz.
No worries, mate. No worries.